Hello, my name is Grace and I make fashion and lifestyle content from Japan. It is summer in Japan now, which means it's hot, hot, hot. You might look at the temperatures in Japan and think, well, that's not much different from my own country, but the humidity will get you here. So for example, today is 26 degrees, but the real feel is 31. And it goes up to about 35 degrees of actual temperature, and the real feel, because of the humidity, goes up to about 41, 42. It gets really hot. And that's just here in Kanto. When I lived in Osaka, Kyoto area, it was even hotter. It's very hot and it can get very dangerous. So I thought I'd make this video to show you my best tips and tricks to beat the heat in Japan. This might seem a bit obvious, but just don't visit Japan in the summertime. Honestly, if you can come in October or maybe May, those are really great times where it's warm, but it's not hot. Those are excellent times to visit Japan, the spring or the autumn. The winter can get pretty cold, but I would say just don't come in the summer if you don't have to. Or maybe you're like, there's no other option. I only have holiday time in the summer. I've got to come in July or August. That's okay. We've got some tips for you. Number one is to stay indoors. Now I know you might be thinking, but I want to go around Japan, I want to look at all these things and walk everywhere. Yes, you can do that, but still seek the indoors. Take lots of breaks. Walk into convenience stores, shops, Starbucks, anywhere that's got a lot of air conditioning, just to cool yourself as much as possible. Let's get on to some products. One of my favorites is a handy mini fan. Cooling. It has lots of different force settings and I can charge it with a USB, so I can bring this around with me everywhere and just recharge it with my portable battery when I need to. So I have a constant source of a little bit more cool, especially if there's like Matsuri, which is festivals, or maybe you're watching fireworks. These are a necessity to bring with you to keep you cool. There's all sorts of different types of fans. As you can see here in Loft, you've got the ones that go around your neck, you've got a handheld one, you've got mini ones, you can get huge ones that go in your house. Fans are essential. You can also get the traditional fan, the wavy in your facey kind of fan. Although personally I don't think these are great, anything is better than nothing. One of my favorite things to have in my handbag is cooling body wipes. Now, before I came to Japan, I was never a sweaty person. Even when I exercise, I go very pink, but I'm not drenched in sweat. Some people sweat more than others, that's just life. But in Japan, in the summer, I get a bit sweaty and I think you can't avoid that. Now, not only do these wipe the sweat down, they are cooling. So this is gonna take your body temperature down -3 degrees. This one is one of my favorites because it is a non-scented one. That means non-scented. I have ripped the packet and opened it because I've been using these already. Especially after my dance class, use one of these and then I can go outside and I'm not like immediately hot on hot on hot. Yes, they are in a package, in another package, which drives me mental. Japan loves plastic and that's just awful, but there we go. Some of these will have alcohol in them, some of them are non-alcohol. I believe this one is an alcohol one, but it really does help cool you down. And to use them, you just, very easily, they just look like a sheet, and you just rub your body with them, and it is immediately cooling. Perfect. Around your neck where you get a little bit sweaty, and because it's non-scented, great. It's not like, oh, I smell like a flower. You can have ones that are really scented, but I personally prefer a non-scented one. Be very aware if you're using this, if you are wiping your skin to make it lovely and fresh and cool, your sun cream will come off. Your sunscreen will be erased. Put sunscreen on again afterwards. Don't forget. Don't be like, oh, that's so cooling, that's so much better, I'll go back outside again. Put your sunscreen on. Don't forget, these are gonna wipe off your sunscreen. And that of course brings me to sunscreen. I have a video all about sunscreens, which I have reviewed in Japan last year. Go and check that out. To be honest, most of them are factor 50 plus. So they will protect you. Whatever you get, make sure you're getting a big factor and just put some on. I know a lot of people are like, oh, but I want to tan. You can tan with sunscreen as well. You need this, or you're going to be in danger of skin cancer. You are very much going to be in danger here in Japan if you do not use sunscreen. Trust me, wear it. And if you have got burnt, because it happens, you're at the beach, you slather the stuff on, 5 minutes later you're like, how have I got burnt? How did I miss that tiny, tiny patch of skin? It happens. You want to use some aloe. So Sunbear's aloe is very cheap. It's pretty much like 99% aloe vera. It's cooling. It's going to really, really help the healing of those burns. This is my favorite one here. Of course, very, very essential is clothing. You may wish to be completely unclothed, but clothing in our society is essential. Now, Uniqlo does this airism range, which I think is really good. It keeps you very cool underneath, but you're going to have to wear something on top of it. It is just underwear generally. I know they have a few sports bits which are airism as well, but generally it's underwear. So I suggest on top of that things like cottons and linens, very natural fabrics. Now you might be thinking, oh, but this material is very light. But if it is synthetic, you do run the risk of it feels light and cooling, but actually you're going to sweat more, it's going to get stuck to your skin more. It's not actually as good as a natural fabric like a cotton or a linen is. Covering your skin is very important, and you can buy a plethora of sun umbrellas or rain and sun umbrellas, and I have a very nice one, goes very small, fits in my bag. If the sun's out, pop it up. Remember, you should also be wearing sunscreen as well. They are 99% cutting of the sun UV rays, but nothing is 100%. And as I've said before, the UV is very hot here. If you're going to the beach, you will want to wear sandals or shoes because the sand is so hot it will burn your feet. Please bear this in mind if you're bringing a pet. I don't know why you'd be bringing a pet into Japan, like how you get it in unless you live here. But if you have a pet, it's going to burn its little feet if it's going for a walk outside. If you burn your feet on the sand, your pet is going to burn its feet as well. That was one of my biggest surprises when I came here, because as a British person, the beach, it's not that hot. It's probably quite cold more than anything. The sea itself in Japan is, it's chilly, it's not a hot sea, but the sand will heat up very, very quickly, and you don't want to burn your feet on that. So you may want to bring a big parasol with you to the beach, or we have a little pop-up half tent, which is great for getting that shade. And you will want to refresh yourself constantly. So if you're bringing a refillable bottle, please check out Maimizu, as they show you where all the refillable water places are in Tokyo, and I believe they've extended that further now. Convenience stores will always have lots of water, lots of refreshments for you to try. So you may need to refresh yourself with salts and a little bit more if you are sweating or you're moving around outside. It's really important as well. 3 very popular sports drinks here are Pocari Sweat. Yes, horribly named, but very, very, very popular sports drink here. Aquarius. I actually prefer the flavor of this to Pocari Sweat, so I would choose an Aquarius over a Pocari Sweat. I know, whew, shocker. Those two have quite a lot of sugar in them, so if you're looking for a more natural alternative, green Dakara is a really good choice. This is my favorite. This is what I use after my dance classes. Alternatively, you can buy salt candy tablets. So I don't use these personally because I don't go outside a lot and do a lot of exercise. I will generally stay inside in the summertime. I'm just not wanting to go out and sweat horribly. It's just not my jam. So I didn't actually buy any of these to show you, but here's a picture. So you can get these in convenience stores and supermarkets, that kind of store around Japan. Now, when I was working in Osaka, I was doing a bit of work outside in the summertime, and my coworker was like, you need to take this, you need to take this. And I'm like, okay. And I was sure it was like an Alka-Seltzer type thing that you put into water and then it fizzes up, and it's not. It's just a candy that you put in your mouth and you kind of chew it or suck it or whatever you want to do. Don't try and take it straight away, don't gulp it down or anything. You just want to chew it or keep it in your mouth until it dissolves entirely. It's just a candy. And then it recommends you drink some water with it, because water is the most essential thing for the Japanese summer. It does say don't take it and then have a sports drink, that can make you sick. So that's probably too much salts. So I would say sports drink or tablet and water. But either way, just drink a load of water. Sometimes in convenience stores, there's also frozen versions of the sports drinks and water. So if you're taking it with you, it's always gonna stay cool in your bag because it's a big block of ice basically. And you may be thinking, with all this sweating I'm doing, I'm gonna need some good deodorant. Well, you can't get that in Japan. Yeah, it might be a bit of a shocker, but Japan doesn't really do deodorant well. That's because Japanese people have a gene which makes their earwax dry and thus makes their sweat not smelly and less body odor. Shocker, it's so weird. But Western people tend to have wet earwax, which means their body odor and sweat will smell. So, if you're needing deodorant, and you probably will, bring a load from home, please. Or if you're living here, you probably already know this and you probably get it off Amazon or iHerb or those kinds of websites, or you get your family to send you some, because the deodorant here is terrible. Lots of Japanese people will also bring a little tiny towel around with them to wipe that sweat down, give themselves a little dab, or also to dry their hands after using the bathroom. I would suggest having 2 separate towels for drying your hands and one for wiping the sweat, because a lot of the time there's no hand dryer or there's no towels to dry your hands afterwards. So a lot of people are using a small towel for that as well. But I would suggest, as I said, 2 separate towels. You don't really want to be drying your hands with your sweat towel. That's just gross. And simply my main advice here is to stay indoors if you can, or if you're going up to Hokkaido, that's great. It's a lot cooler up there in the north. But take regular breaks, drink lots of water, stay indoors, and look after yourself. If you need to take a break, do it. That's the most important thing. And grab yourself an ice cream at the convenience store because you deserve a little treat in the summer. Gosh knows how they're doing the Olympics at this time of the year. Like the British team, we're not going to win anything because we'll just melt. We will simply melt. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you like. See ya!